This is a MakerBeam proof of concept for a small form factor ITX chassis that does not worship at the altar of massive graphics cards. Internal component configuration is rotated 90 degrees from typical case configuration, with the longest dimension now being the width of the chassis. The layout is much like an open test bench. Each major component group, motherboard with CPU, graphics card, and the power supply, each have their own air intake and exhaust. The build uses 300 millimeter length beams for width, 200 millimeter length beams for depth, and 150 millimeter beams for height, with 10 millimeter corner cubes on each corners and for the feet, with a volume of approximately 10 liters. This configuration allows 140 millimeter or 120 millimeter by 25 front fans and a 92 by 25 rear fan with front to back airflow and coolers up to 135 millimeters in height. Dual slot graphics cards of up to 210 millimeters in length can be fitted. Recent testing with GPU-Z stress test and Unigine Valley benchmark with Ryzen 9 5950X with the Thermalright Silver Soul CPU cooler give a maximum CPU temperature of 39 degrees C over ambient. Subsequently, a lower section using 60 millimeter beams was added to allow for SSD or hard drive storage. I fitted a flexi dock from IcyDock to add 4 hot swappable SATA SSDs for silent desktop operation. There is space to add additional hard drives or another flexi dock, and there is clearance under the motherboard to install an NVMe to SATA adapter on the motherboard's lower NVMe slot, adding an additional 5 SATA connections. And here's a rear view of the chassis. Here is the underside of the chassis. I posted this proof of concept on smallformfactor.net, and Lazer 3D in Great Britain was kind enough to create 2 prototypes for me of this style of case. They designated the LZX10 that are shown here.